So do I understand this correctly, that you're saying that somewhere between 40 and 50% of the shops
Repairable vehicles
are not showing the PreScan, which means they're probably not doing them. And with all that technology on board, how do you get away with that?
You put your head in the sand, I guess. You may not like it. You may not like the fact that the cars are coming with all this stuff, and maybe you think we're getting lazy and all the rest of that. But
regardless, I don't think you can.
It's coming.
You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Airing of Grievances. My name is Eric Reamer. That's Robert Grieve, and we are, as always, thankful for you taking the time out of your day to join us for ours. Now, if this is your first time, we appreciate you, and we hope that you find the content that we provide here on this channel helpful and useful for you and your loved ones. And this is what this is all about, right?
Yes.
We're here to encourage you, the consumer, the driving public, if you will, to be aware of the things that happen behind the scenes in the collision industry should, God forbid, you ever require the services of one of our types of shops. In that situation...
Hopefully you don't.
Well, of course, hopefully you don't, but in that kind of situation, it's not just the body shop that you're dealing with, but it's also the insurance company or companies, and there's a lot to going on. So we encourage you, after this video, take a look at all of the playlist of what we've got available for you on our videos, because there's something for everyone here. And it really does matter, because it can save not only lots of money, but maybe even your life. For those of you who are regulars, our friends, our family, we appreciate you so very much for tuning in. If any of you haven't done it yet, take this opportunity to go ahead and push that thumbs up button. That
Just do it now.
Yeah, it tells YouTube that this is content.
A couple of you missed it last week.
It tells YouTube that this is content that you find interesting and worthy of sharing. Sharing is caring, so if you want to copy the link and post it to your social media, that goes a long way towards helping us communicate this with a lot more people. Yeah. And if you haven't subscribed, it's free. Just click the subscribe button and the notify bell. Lets you know that every Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. here in the Mountain Standard Time, we are posting another video just like this one, with different topics every single week. With that being said, Rob, happy Saturday to you.
To you, my dear friends, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. So, Rob, we're filming this with a, what is this, a Blue Yeti kind of a microphone. We've got a 1080 camera hooked up to a Mac Airbook, or MacBook
high-tech
Air.
stuff here.
You've got your... iPad there. I've got my Apple Watch here, and this is high tech, right? And thank God for the people at Apple who make the high tech easy for guys
and know how to connect it all,
like us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of connected, though,
yeah,
there's something that you want to bring to the attention of our audience and discuss, because you raise a very interesting question, and it's in the title of our video here, and that is, has technology advanced? Have vehicles become so complex that some shops simply don't know how or refuse to fix them?
That the don't know how is a lot, and not even aware might even be, a situation.
Some say that ignorance is bliss.
Not in this case.
Others might say ignorance is just ignorance.
Yeah. So there's an estimating system out there. It's called CCC, and that's the system that we use. It is by far the largest adapted estimating system for putting together repair plans to repair vehicles.
Yeah.
Used by both the insurers and the shops.
Okay.
So they come out with a yearly, what they call crash course. So, and it's a great report that talks about all sorts of statistics
Yeah.
around, demographics, car accidents, insurance claims, everything that's driving the collision and insurance industry in this
Yes.
space.
And for those of you who are really geeky and want to find that out, I'll put a link right below in the description box for you to download that crash course. It's only 186 pages, so
But I look forward to reading it.
we'll wait.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So they put out this annual report, the crash course report
Yep.
for 2023.
Yep. Brilliantly done. And a lot of great information. And I like to pull out, I keep track of a couple of these pieces because they're consistent.
Yeah.
And I can talk when we've talked about these before. Sadly, not much has changed except for the cars.
The cars are changing exponentially.
Yeah. So I'm looking through here, and I come across this page, and it says vehicles have become smartphones on wheels. We've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah.
They're just so high tech, and we're talking about even your basic cars today. A Toyota Camry is loaded
Yeah.
with this stuff.
Yeah. Did you say that there was how many capacitors?
Oh, the average car is packed with 1,400 semiconductors that control everything from airbags to engine. Modern cars simply cannot run without chips and processors and all the rest of it, sensors and reporting back to these conductors.
In fact, during the pandemic, that was one of the things that held up the supply chain, and it may still
of
even
new
be,
vehicles,
going on. It's resolving itself slowly.
slowly.
But those chips, you talk about 1,400
yeah,
on an average car.
the average car.
Yeah.
We're
There-
not talking about
there are some that excel.
the Mac Daddies. But to give you a sense of what that looks like in your car, take a look at this Mercedes and how they are scattered throughout the vehicle.
Wow.
They're everywhere, and I can't imagine getting damage anywhere on that vehicle that isn't going to require somebody that understands those systems and what it may have affected.
And the collaboration with those systems and other systems.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. It's more than banging out fenders and replacing hoods and replacing bumpers. Those days are just about over.
Sure.
But let's go to this next picture, and what we're this is what some of those sensors are doing.
Yes.
So, like that beam looking out at the car,
Right.
in front of it, that's a camera looking through the windshield.
Yes.
That camera is talking to semiconductors and all the rest of that, and giving information inside the vehicle because it knows how far away you are.
Sure.
And if you're traveling faster than what that other car is, it knows a lot of stuff.
That's the truth.
In some of the cars, simple Subarus that have eyesight, that camera can also see the color of the traffic light you're coming up on.
Come on.
Or that there's a stop sign, the lines in the road, if the brake lights are on the vehicle in front of you.
Wow.
So there's a lot. And then you see around that, the side of it, it's got sensors, and that's part of the 360 cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're looking at them or not, they're looking.
Sure.
And
Which, by the way, there's even another thing that I've read about, and that is that some of the cars are equipped to have cameras looking back at you.
there are some cars out there that have them in the dash looking at you to make sure you're not getting groggy or distracted or,
Wow.
you know, the picture of a coffee cup will come up on the dash with a ding ding.
I've received
Maybe
that
it's
picture
time
once
to
or twice.
pull over.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to pull over and get a cup of coffee or something.
My lazy eye doesn't help me in that regard.
So, with all that technology, the people that replace parts and paint parts and so on and so forth, they've got a lot more work to do today to fix your vehicle properly
Sure.
if they are aware of the existence of these things and any damage that may have incurred because of your damage. And again, when you look at that Mercedes, where in the world on that car could you have damage that isn't going to affect
Something or multiple
one
things.
of these or several of these systems?
Yeah, there is no place.
Even on some cars, they have the 360 camera in the bumper, and front and rear,
Yeah.
and in your mirrors, and in several other places. If you get that all has to be recalibrated. It all has to be set back, because imagine that picture of that camera looking, at that car behind it, in front of it.
Right.
Well, what if it's
A little off.
a little off?
Like 7 degrees off, as we talked about in
Yeah.
one of our videos recently.
Yeah, it needs to be exactly where it's supposed to be in order to give the information to all the other systems
Yes.
that it's talking to make decisions. And you may not like it. You may not like the fact that the cars are coming with all this stuff, and maybe you think we're getting lazy and all the rest of that. But
regardless, I don't think you can.
It's coming.
You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
yeah, these cars are on the road today, and they're only getting more advanced by the day.
Yeah.
Some of it government regulated, some of it NHTSA. If they decide to change the 5-star crash rating to include something, well, the manufacturers have to know that ahead of time.
Sure.
And be able to maintain their 5-star crash. There's a lot that goes into this. Mm-hmm. Talking about you, the consumer, one of the things I routinely look at in this report is, and if you've seen any of my other videos, you know I talk about pre and post scanning.
Yeah.
It's the bare necessities. I haven't come across a manufacturer that doesn't say it needs to be done.
Right.
But yet, here we go. CCC National Industry Percentage of Repairable Appraisals. So these are cars that aren't totaled. These are cars that are going to be fixed.
Right.
With fees for health, scan, health, diagnostic, and onboard diagnostics.
Okay.
So a pre-scan, basically, is what they're talking about.
All right.
That's the bare minimum. You still need to go into other systems as well to check them. But at the bare minimum, a health scan, which is commonly known as a pre-scan in the industry. We're still between 50 and 60% of that showing up on an estimate.
So, do I understand this correctly, that you're saying that somewhere between 40 and 50% of the shops'
Repairable vehicles are not showing the pre-scan, which means they're probably not doing them. And with all that technology on board, how do you get away with that? You put your head in the sand, I guess. Wait for the consumer to complain that there's a light on their dash, or
And they
God
do.
forbid there is no light on your dash, because not everything throws a light on your dash.
Oh, park the car right there. Yeah, forgive the phrase. What did you just say? That not every problem?
No, you'd have to have 1,000 lights on your dash in order for everything to get reported to your dash that there's a malfunction or something's thrown a code or something. When you do that pre-scan, if there's something wrong or something that was wrong, like, you had the accident and it threw some codes because it went through some irregularities.
Yeah,
They may be in history,
but not show up on your dashboard.
No, not necessarily show up on your dashboard.
Wow.
And each one of these codes has got a number, and you look up that number, and it tells you what the code is trying to tell you, and you go to your diagnostics. If you don't pull these codes and do the pre-scan, you can't tell by looking at the car or looking at the dash in many cases.
Yeah.
So the pre-scan and post-scan are incredibly important. Now, the interesting thing about this is, again, CCC estimating system is the most widely used in the industry
Sure.
by body shops and insurers.
Okay.
So that means not only is it not showing up on the body shop's estimate, it's not showing up on the insurer's estimate either about 45% of the time. So this is not a one-sided problem.
Right.
This is this is a big problem for me. I think it's a big problem for you, the consumer. And if you've seen some of our other videos, you know that when I look at an estimate, and I always tell you, you need to go through your estimate and understand what they're doing and how they're fixing it and what they're fixing it with.
Sure.
But many of the times, what isn't on the estimate is a bigger problem. And if you're not seeing pre and post scans on there, and you have a newer vehicle,
Yeah.
and when I say newer, I'm talking about, less than 10 years old,
Right.
that could be a very big problem for you and cause problems.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's just the pre and the post scan.
Yep.
That somewhat addresses that technology that we showed you pictures of.
Okay.
Now remember when we talked about what if that camera is off 7 degrees?
Yeah, sure.
Or the front or rear bumper, you got hit and now the thing is crunched like this. The camera's not going to be
Right.
looking straight anymore. The radar's not going to be looking straight. If it's got a LiDAR in front, it's not going to be looking straight. All those need to be recalibrated. In other words, put back exactly where they need to be and aimed
Yeah.
exactly where they need to be, and that information needs to be updated in the computer system as to where they are and what they're seeing
You
in the
have
computer system of your car.
you have a building just adjacent to the one that we're in right now that has a complete setup of calibration equipment, which is not cheap by any stretch of the imagination.
No, and neither is the space needed to do it,
Yes, and
and the training that my people have gone through.
this is critical information. All
And
right.
this is important to you. So picking the right shop to fix your car is becoming more and more and more important.
Of course.
So let's just go to the second one that I always check.
Yep.
And this is CCC National Industry Percentage of Repairable Appraisals. Repairable appraisals. They don't say body shop appraisals. They don't say insurance appraisals.
Right.
They say appraisals. So everybody using CCC to write repair plans or appraisals,
Yes.
the national industry percentage of repairable appraisals with fees for calibration, reflash, aim camera, distance sensor, or ADAS is at 12%.
Did you hear that?
It's at 12%.
If I do my math correct, I think that sounds like 88% of the shops and
of the
and-
estimates.
Of the estimates, right? Shops
estimates.
or the insurance estimates that are not including recalibrations and programming and
Aiming cameras and distance sensors and all the rest of that.
this should terrify you. This is it's saying that they're not correctly repairing the vehicle that you paid all the money to drive. It's supposed to be
And these systems are there to
Protecting you.
protect you.
right.
And protect other people, because if your camera sees that the brakes are on in the car in front of you and the distance is closing faster than you're doing anything about it, it could apply the emergency braking and save the damage to the front of your car, you personally, and the people that were potentially going to get hit.
Yeah.
So it's more than just you and your passengers; it's others as well.
This is a
And this is
red
important.
alert.
Yeah, this is important stuff, and to think that only 12% of the time it's on appraisals. That is worrisome to me.
I share your concern, and the alarm should go out. Listen, this is a great point for me to reemphasize. If you would just grab the link There's a little share button on YouTube, but if you don't do that, if you're watching on a web browser on your computer, click the link in the URL box and share it with your social media. Tell people that this is critical and important, and God forbid you ever need the services of a repair shop, but if you do, you got to find somebody within the 12% that are actually writing the proper estimates and appraisals.
Not only do you want to see it on the estimate, but you want your shop talking to you about it.
Yeah.
Not you asking, are you going to, are all my sensors and cameras and LiDARs going to be calibrated and so on and so forth? These things control steering. They can control steering. Like if you're not doing what it thinks you need to do, it may intervene.
Yes.
It may put the brakes on. There's so many things that the car may do to keep you in your lane.
Right.
These things need to work, because if they're out of kilter and it's trying to keep you in your lane and it really doesn't know where the lane is, it may mean it's trying to keep you in the middle of the lane or something, you know, a place that you're not supposed to be. So that's what I have for today. I think it's important for you to do your homework, always review your estimate, and make sure, have them go line by line. If you have questions, and we've got plenty of videos on what to look for on the estimate, and what to look for if it's not on the estimate.
Right.
All these things are important.
We've got videos, we've got blog posts. Nylundscollision.com is our website where you can find, under the resources tab, our blog, and if you type in estimates or how to read an estimate, you'll find information there. Wow. Critical
That's what we have for today.
I appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Happy Saturday to you.
To you. Stay safe out there.
Yeah.
Have an amazing week, and I'll see you next Saturday. God bless.